Peace and love, everybody. Can you hear me? Let's do a voice check. Put the thumb up if you can hear me. If you can hear me. All righty. Okay, welcome, welcome. It is 6 o'clock, 6:01, 6 o'clock. Welcome, peace and love. Before we get started, and well, we already are started, let's just pause for a moment and take 3 deep breaths. And when you're releasing your out breath, be sure to just relax and release any tension that you may have at this moment, okay? So let's take those deep breaths. How does that feel?
Good.
That feels good?
Real good.
I want to welcome you to Somewhere in a Rainbow, the stereotypical perspective of the strong Black woman, okay? I am Rashida Sharif, and when you're done with this session, this event that we're having right now, I would like you to go to my website and check me out at rashidasharif.com. If you haven't already, follow me on Instagram and check out my YouTube videos. I'm an artist. I create these beautiful trees, and this particular tree is in honor of strong Black women. And I guess you know the courage and red goes together. And I'm also the author of Somewhere in a Rainbow. This is my latest book, Somewhere in a Rainbow. If you haven't gotten this book, please go to my website and order it. It's in 3 parts. It's my story. There's some profound stuff in here that you might want to read about. And at the very end, in session 3, there is a healing path. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Chi. And
all right, good evening, everybody. Really quick, I know some people are trying to view the video on Facebook, but it's not on live. If you want to check, because I know a lot of people are trying to get on to watch it on Facebook Live. Yeah, so just take a minute and make sure you're going live, Mommy.
There is a delay. There is a delay. It's live. There is a delay on Facebook. There's a slight delay on Facebook.
Where is it at? Is it on your page or is
it's
it
on my timeline, Rashida Sharif, my timeline. If you can go to
okay.
Rashida Sharif, it is there. And I'm going to turn my phone off because there's an overlap. I just wanted to show you that it is on my timeline, Rashida Sharif. Okay, so let's take a minute for those of you who do want to go to the Facebook page. Okay, Chi?
Okay, so thank you everybody for joining today. I just wanted to really quick say a few things before we start. One, just make sure you keep yourself mute while someone else is speaking so that we can all hear. Number 2, every speaker, if you're going to be speaking today, you're going to have about 2 minutes to speak, and then we're going to open up the floor to questions and comments after you speak, and then we'll move on to the next speaker. And that's about it. If you have any questions and you don't want to interrupt anyone, make sure you can go to the chat option. There's a chat option at the bottom. You can just type in your questions. I'll be keeping my eye out on the chat. So hopefully we can get everybody's questions answered. All right, go ahead, Mommy.
Okay, so our topic is very, very powerful within itself. It's the stereotypical perspective of a strong Black woman. And you know we are some strong Black women. And forgive me if I have to multitask a little bit because I'm looking at this participant section over here and I'm trying to admit people as they come in. So if I seem a little distracted at times, please forgive me. Yeah, I think we're doing okay. Okay. Before we got on today, I was dancing, I was singing, I was throwing my hands up and shouting, and I was just, woo! Do you know that Black women has a reputation for dancing, shaking the booty and just singing the songs, and it's such a negative connotation that goes along with that. Did you know that? People are saying like, all they ever want to do is just dance and shake their butt and sing them rhythm and blues songs. That is true. But guess what? Do you know that that came from our ancestors? Did you know that dance, that boom, that drowning ourselves with the earth and our raising our voice to the heavens is how we remain strong after we were brought to the shores of North America as enslaved people. Yeah, I threw it in there because it's embedded within our spirit for us to be strong. And today, our present situation, we don't actually think about yesterday in terms of why we always dancing or why we want to party or why we are singing these songs and why we feel much better when we doing the dance and we singing the songs. Why do we feel so much better? We feel better because we are connecting with something greater than who we actually are. We are connecting with our ancestors. We are connecting with in terms of grounding ourselves and keeping ourselves strong. So contrary to popular belief, that stereotypical perspective of women, African American women, Black women in particular, in terms of us just doing the boogaloo for no good reason, is a lie. It's a lie. So when you dance around your house, when you're not feeling well, or you dance around your house when you're feeling well, all that's good because historically speaking, our ancestors had a song and a dance for every occasion. We don't know it because we don't talk about it. Okay, we've been, as they say, bamboozled in terms of us thinking that we're just doing it for no good reason, we're just doing it for no good reason. But no, once we become aware of something and once we make the world and the people around us, our neighbors, aware of who we are, what we do and why we do it, we begin to communicate and understand each other better. So for all you listeners out there, don't quite understand why we as African women, African American women, Black women, however you want to identify yourself as, we dance and we shout and we drown ourselves with the earth for a divine purpose, not just get out there to do the twerking and to shake our booty for no good reason at all. Okay, so I'm going to stop right there because I just wanted to bring a little history into our conversation, because there's a lot of misconceptions of us as Black women, African American women.
All right, if there is no questions or comments, we can go ahead and move on to our next speaker, which is Miss Dell.
Hi.
You have the floor, Miss Dell.
Okay. Thank you first of all and foremost for this opportunity to share a little bit about myself and my strength. Thank you for the invite. I've been a strong Black woman for a long time. I just needed to be reminded of how strong I am. My strength comes from being tried and tested by life's, I'll say, unpredictability. I am where I am in my life because somewhere, someone gave me something. They gave me hope. They gave me an idea. They gave me a nugget that rekindled me in the right direction. I think women across the board are very powerful. Very powerful. And I think we're more powerful when we operate together than separately. The stronger, and I laughed about this, I took some notes. But the stronger I mean, the stronger I become, the more I'm gonna need some bail money. That's real. And that's with any strong, that was a laughing moment. That's with any strong Black woman. The stronger you become, the more powerful you become, you're going to need some bail money, because you're going to have some onlookers that's going to hate how you grinding and how you're thriving. I stopped explaining myself when I realized that people only going to understand from their level of perception. In closing, I would say continue to any woman that don't feel, any Black woman that feels stereotyped or don't feel that they should be operating in such a way. I would say continue to esteem yourselves higher in a manner that renders onlookers completely awestruck. Closing with this, Margaret Thatcher said it best: if you want something said, ask a man. If you want something done, ask a strong woman. Thank you.
Thank you.
I hear your mom.
I have a question. One question. I have a question, Dal.
Yes.
I know you. I know everybody on here, but I want to, well, maybe not. I want to ask you one question. What is the thing that you feel that you have done in your life to represent your woman strength to the max?
Okay. I'm going to keep it real. I'm going to keep it raw.
Yeah, keep it real.
I stopped giving people the finger. In other words, I learned through all those life experiences and all those journeys and all those dark places that I've encountered, that nobody's gonna give me what I need outside of my spiritual work, outside of using my spiritual tools, outside of reaching out to women that are doing the damn thing and being an example in my life, as you are. I commend you, you know, and if I let me go this route. A man, know that I'm single, been single for a while, wanted to come in my life. No, I've been single for a while. And I asked him, I said, well, what can you bring to my table? He started naming the stuff he can bring to my table. And I said, you know, I bought this table. I've earned this table. There's nothing you can bring at this table. See you later. It takes work. It takes work. And I'm doing the work.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, thank you. We can move on to our next speaker, Ms. Mecca.
Is Mecca here? Is she
Here?
here?
No? Okay, so I'll get started. Okay, so this topic is very, I think, important for us to discuss. I think is a topic that we don't talk about enough, because the stereotype that comes behind the strong Black woman, like I hear it all the time, like, oh, she's a strong Black woman. I hear it all the time, but we never really stop and think about what that actually means. And in my opinion, I think that stereotype can be a good thing, but it can also be harmful, because there's so many Black women and women in general that feel like they have to be strong, and they feel like they can't express themselves or show any feelings. They have to put their families up. They have to be that strength for everybody. And I think that stereotype could be so harmful. I just recently became a trained doula, and during my training, it was very interesting. It put a lot of things in perspective for me. We talked about the history of nanny midwives, which are midwives back in the day who were birthing babies, you know, did it almost their whole life. They was around it. That's how new life was brought into the world. They had a midwife that came to the house, and, you know, she was very experienced, and we call those midwives granny midwives. But these women were so good at what they did that this country, the white men in the Pacific, were threatened by it. So they completely dismantled the whole system of the granny midwives. So they made it so if you weren't medically trained, then you can't deliver a baby. So that whole medical field started, and Black women were used as test subjects, basically. These doctors would test on Black bodies, Black women bodies, without any anesthesia. And it was so inhumane, and it was just torture. And I think that history, that aspect, has a lot to do with the medical system today and how these doctors view Black women and Black bodies. I know in some trainings, some doctor trainings, they even go as far as to say that Black women and Black people don't feel pain like normal people. Like we have our pain threshold is so like high that we don't feel pain, which is why a lot of Black women are dying at childbirth. But that's a whole nother topic. So yeah, I think this whole stereotypical Black woman, I think it is a stereotype because Black women, yes, we are strong. Yes, we have endured a lot historically and presently. But at what point do we sit and talk about our feelings and our struggles? And at what point do we admit to ourselves that it's okay if we're not strong? Not every Black woman is strong, and it's okay to admit that. It's okay to say, oh, I need help. Or, just admit to ourselves that we can feel what we feel.
Thank you. Thank you. So let me ask you a question. What made you go into the field of becoming a doula? What was your motivation?
My motivation was basically like I said, a lot of Black women are dying given childbirth. This is in the United States alone, and we're one of the world's most developed nations, or supposed to be one of the world's most developed nations. And so our medical field, from a medical standpoint, we should have the technology and the knowledge for our women to not be dying over causes that are completely preventable. But we're simply ignored just because of the color of our skin, and that's real. And so I wanted to be a part of the change. I wanted to do something about it. So I wanted to become a doula. So I trained and I did it.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Very good.
Okay, our next speaker is Monique. Miss Monique, I don't know if she's here.
Don't think she's here.
No. All right, Yaya.
She's here.
I'm here. Hi, everyone. Good evening.
Good evening.
Hello. Well, wow, deep topic, and I'm so glad again. I agree with Sheena that you brought this to light, because we don't discuss the stereotypes as when it comes to strong Black women. I myself, I am definitely a strong Black woman. I was born into it. I can't help to be the way I am, and I don't want to change for the life of me. I would never change who I am for anyone, but something that comes to mind when I think of the stereotypes that strong Black women have, excuse my voice, I'm a little tired. But one of the things that hit me the hardest is when how people look at being a strong Black woman as a negative versus a positive. For an example, I date, of course, I'm grown. And almost every guy I meet say, oh, you're a strong Black woman. They don't say it in a nice way though. They say it like, shit, this is a problem. She gonna be something. Yeah, I'm something. Like, of course I'm something. I wouldn't change it. regardless for anyone. But I always ask, what do you mean? Explain yourself. What do you mean I'm a strong Black woman? The last guy I dated, well, didn't even really date because we didn't even get that far, but went out with, he is like, oh, you're going to be aggressive. You're going to demand things. You're going to want this. You're going to want that. You're going to want this and that. First of all, I got my own, so I would never go to anybody for anything. And this is how I checked him, of course. I got my own. I won't ask you for anything, or whatever you do for me is because you want to do, not because I'm asking for it. Secondly, if you're not strong enough to step to the table, just back away, walk away. You have an option in it. You know what I mean? You don't have to stick around if you can't handle what I have and who I am. Make a very long story short, last few guys anyway I met said that to me, and I'm like, oh my God, another weak man. Where's my alphas? You know what I mean? Where's the alpha man that can handle something like this? But it's always, oh my God, another strong woman. It's always sounding so negative when it's something so positive, when it's something so uplifting. And like Chino said, no, every woman can't be strong regardless of their color, regardless of their race. But those of us that are, we're meant to be that way because we have to be strong for a reason, regardless of the reason, whether we're taking care of family, whether we're the sole breadwinner of our home, regardless of our situation, we're the way we are because we have to be. And that's just the bottom line. And people just need to accept it, respect it, and love it. I mean, I'm so tired of hearing, when it comes to that phrase, another strong white, oh my God, uplift who we are and love us. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's just great topic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a question. Do you feel as though with women knowing that point of view in terms of they know their strength and they know that a lot of men will not be able to handle, and I'm going to use that very freely, a strong Black woman because they may feel threatened in some kind of way. I'm not saying all men, I'm saying some men threatened in some kind of way. Do you feel that women, strong Black women, are compromising themselves or lowering their standards in order to just have a man?
I'm so glad you asked me that. I really am, because I have met a few strong Black women that actually compromise just to have a man. Yes, I have met those. But speaking for myself, I don't compromise. I know who I am. I know what I want. I'm in tune with my chi. You know, I'm happy whether I'm single, whether I'm in a relationship. Regardless, at the end of the day, I'm happy with who I am. And the sisters that do settle, obviously they have some type of insecurity within themselves in order to settle that way, because to be who you are and to be confident and then to settle something is that don't equal, it's not equaling up. Like, you're not going to settle if you're very secure with yourself and you know who you are at the end of the day. But yes, I have met those that yeah, I have.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Thank you. Yes,
I just want to say really fast, to add on to that. If anyone, if a man or anyone, if they have a problem with your strength or who you are, then I feel like that's a problem within them.
Exactly.
Yeah, that is something within them that, that they feel threatened or, feel like their masculinity is at, I don't know, being threatened. I don't know. But
insecurities, I agree. It's
they're insecure. Yeah.
We can go on about that for a long time, because that is so profound. Because as you were speaking, Chi and Yaya, I was just thinking of other things, but we have other people that want to speak, and we'll revisit that if we need to, because right away, what went through my mind was that women in general, but in particular, African-American women, Black women, we carry the seed of stress and a lot of mental and spiritual unhealthiness just from that little tidbit of living a lie every single day of our lives, because we know who we are. Regardless of how we act or how we front, we know who we are. So I'll just back away for now.
Okay, our next speaker is Joy.
Is she here?
No, I don't think so. Okay, Brittany.
Hello, can you guys hear me okay?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. So I am just gonna say something super small in regards to being a Black woman, a mixed Black woman, because growing up being half white and having a white mom, you get judged by, I feel like, both sides. You're not Black enough, or you're not white enough to do this or to hang out with us, and that sort of thing. So growing up with that happening to me, being a grown Black woman now, I have learned how to be a Black woman, if that makes sense to you guys, and who I am as a Black woman and what that means to be a Black woman and the struggles that Black women went through for me to be able to be where I am. It took a lot of talking to my ancestors, for sure, to be able to get the knowledge. But now I can say that I'm a proud Black woman because I can understand my history and really know where I come from, and can never allow anyone ever again to tell me that I am not Black enough or I am not white enough to be somewhere or to do something with someone else. Yeah, that's it.
Any questions for Brittany? Brittany, you bring to the table a whole host of dynamics because you do have both races in terms of your parents. So I know that it got to be challenging on both ends. So for you to recognize your strength within yourself as you hold your baby, your beautiful baby, my grandson, know that we are definitely connected as one. We're definitely connected. Yes. Mhm.
Thank you.
Chandra.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm not going to talk long either, but what I wanted to say is that first I wanted to thank everyone for just sharing their own personal experiences and stories regarding this topic. I also want to say I will dance more now, so thank you for that little tidbit. But I think it's important for us to like embrace our strength and who we are. But I think we just with the whole being a strong Black woman, I think we just have to be aware of when other people use that to their advantage. I think some people, hey, you're a strong Black woman because they want us to be everything to them except to ourselves. So that's when you kind of like throw self-care to the side. Like I found myself like on autopilot because I think a lot of the times when people try to take advantage of our strength, then that's when we can become into like a harmful practice of self-sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
So like even myself, just really quick, when I was going through breast cancer, I didn't get to be sick. I still had the, no hair, everything's sick, still go pick up kids, like no help when it came to certain aspects. I was just in a car accident still, like, as that strong Black woman, you don't get to rest, you don't get to be sick. Oh, but you look okay, those kind of things like that. And when you don't get into that, in touch with that, then there's resentments and things like that. So that's why I'm starting to practice like self-care now. And I just wanted to thank everybody for what they've been sharing thus far, because everyone has been saying something that I can definitely receive and take with me. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
We have more guests. We have Ree Mickens, we have Ashley, we have Star, Shakira, Miriam, and Sam, and Imani. If either one of you just want to go ahead and unmute your mic and just jump right in the conversation.
Hey, everyone. I am Star Muhammad. I wasn't sure what I was coming on for. I just came to see my fam. I think it's been some years since I've seen Shakira, Auntie Rashida, and Miriam. So I am here. I'm just taking in everything. I wasn't sure what I was signing up for, but I decided to take advantage. I had some computer issues today, technology issues yesterday and today. Um, so far, the noise in the background seems to be okay, which is good. But I'm here listening. If I have anything to chime in on a little bit later, I will do that.
Okay. You look beautiful, by the way, Star. It's been years.
Decades, yes,
Yeah, you
yes,
look
absolutely.
beautiful, my niece. Oh my
Thank
God.
you.
I just gotta give a
Thank you.
woohoo.
What's up, Shakira? What's up, Miriam? What's going on?
Okay, okay.
Yes,
She's out.
excellent. All right. Mhm.
Okay, Ashley, how are you? Would you like to speak?
Hi.
Good seeing you.
It's good to
Wow, this is wonderful.
see you. I'm listening to the conversation. I think it's amazing. My input would be that as Black women, we are a force. And we are strong, we are brave, we're courageous in so many ways. And it's okay to not be okay sometimes. And that's something that we as Black women try our best to do, is to be okay for everybody else. But it's important that we understand that there's strength and weakness as well, you know?
Yeah.
And we owe ourselves that because we are doing so much. So I think that it's great that we're having this conversation, and many more to come, I hope.
Yeah.
And just keep it up. It's an amazing conversation. A lot we need to be spoken for. We need to be advocated for as well. So
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Any other speakers? Sam, do I see your hand? Any other speakers?
Yes, I just want to thank Mommy. I want to thank you, and I see you, Star, and I wanted to just send a love shout out to everyone, Mommy. I'm glad you put this forum together. Yes, I think I am a strong Black woman, but I'm not in my strong phase right now, but I'm still doing what I have to do to maintain. I appreciate everyone sharing their story, your vulnerabilities. And I just want to encourage everyone to be there for each other in a real way, and not just, out of obligation, but just out of the true desire of being there for your peoples, because social isolation is a thing. I thrive off of social interaction. People, I realize now more than ever, that's what helped me accomplish all of my major goals and things I've done in life. And now, kind of feeling isolated to a degree, especially with the COVID and just my son and I here, family far away. I'm used to knocking right next door to the neighbor house, literally right next door, when we used to live in 32. And then when I was in Jersey, I didn't go 7, 8, 2 weeks, 14 days, 21 days without adult interaction, except for strangers. So it's important that we just be here for each other, because depression is real. Just feeling alone is real. Feeling weak is real. And just look for those warning signs and be there for people. Get out your comfort zone, visit a family member, do more than you can do to help someone else, because in return, it'll help you as well. I love you guys. Thank you for being strong women and men, because we have a couple of men on here. I see you, and strong people, whatever race, as was mentioned before, you are. Babies, hey nephew. And Mommy, again, thank you for bringing us together, and hopefully we can do more of this. And I'm so over the screen at this point, but I had to be on for you. I'm ready for real hugs and interaction with real people like back in the day. I miss those times.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much for that.
Mommy, just to piggyback off of Miriam, thank you. I appreciate you creating this platform where you have a bunch of strong women, whether you are, African-American, biracial, I think everyone of us has something. We come from the diaspora of Africa. So we have we got African, different percentages in our DNA. I appreciate seeing, my cousin Kamar and Chandra, Ashley, I remember Ashley, it's so surreal to see everybody sitting here, Mommy, I see some people on the platform. I'm like, Dell, I remember her. Hello. So, I really appreciate it. I agree with it, with everybody, everything that everybody said. I think that we as African or Black women need to be a little bit selfish with ourselves. We give so much of ourselves to other people. It shouldn't have to take for us to get sick, for us to take a break. That happened with me. That happened with a couple other people. We are on autopilot at all times, and so we do. My doctor told me to be selfish with myself. It's okay. And it's still a hard pill to swallow because we feel like we like Atlas. We carry the whole world on our back. But just creating a community of of support amongst other strong Black women is very important. And mommy, we started off in the household. My mother has 4 daughters, and then it was always cousins. I remember Kamar, Kamar, you taught me my first steps. And then mommy, you don't know this, but Kamar taught me how to do drill team steps. And I was like in kindergarten, but I used to, practice because I saw her doing it. And she also taught me how to fight too. So Star, you was one of my superheroes. And, just having superheroes amongst Black women. My cousin Joy, it was so surreal to see my first cousin Joy last week, I think it was, spontaneously. Last month, yeah. Well, no, we just saw Joy.
That's right. Forgive me.
Yes. I was going to say, it was that time flew by. But just to hug my cousin Joy, I hadn't seen her in 20 years. And spontaneously, we all, myself and the sisters who were available were able to go to Atlanta and hug my cousin Joy. I haven't seen my cousin Chandra in the same amount of time. It was just so surreal. And just to feel that energy, I do miss that, Miriam, as you stated, just to give somebody a hug. I got my baby sister on the line who's all the way in South Florida, and haven't really hugged her in way too long. A few months is way too many months, right, Chinu? But I truly, mommy, appreciate you creating this platform, and hopefully we can continue to do this. And once the pandemic and all this stuff passes or whatever, we can actually, make this platform something that we can all meet in person, and continue sharing with each other. My mother said this adage that I always say to my students and to the team that I lead is each one teach one, each one reach one. And that's what we're doing right now, because I'm learning a little bit from listening to everybody's stories and their testimony. So again, mommy, thank you again for, creating this platform for us.
Thank you. And I just want to say something on that quote you just mentioned. That was Queen Mother Moore. I adopted that from her. So I don't take credit for creating that. It was passed down from the ancestors. So that's why I said. I see some people on here making, my friend Linda from Newark, middle school, junior high school, we called it back then. We just reconnected on Facebook, and I mean, this was like, wow. And so I don't know if this is her daughter. I see Ree. I don't know if this is you, Linda, but if you want to talk, please do, because I'm so thankful that we reconnected. She makes angels, and I bought an angel because I needed an angel, and I got that angel just in the nick of time. And I'll pass on her website later to you all, because we do have to promote each other as it relates to business, because that's how we survive, and especially if we are artists. We want to share not just our art, but we want to make a little money on it too, keep it real. But anyway, Reed.
Yes, I'm here. I don't know why my daughter's picture popped up. I had to fix that. I was like, wait, why is her face there? So I have to figure that out. But I love the conversation. I think it's very awesome. A lot of things were swirling in my head. I worked as a neonatal nurse for many years, and it's a known fact that Black girls are most likely to survive. So you have that, and that's scientific fact. It's like, so you have that. And then I was thinking also in my head about Sweet Honey in the Rock and that song, There Ought to Be a Woman. Do you know that song?
Yes.
ought to be the woman
Yes.
that can like sit down, break down, you know, and like how everybody depends on this person all the time. And then another thing came in my mind. I have a friend that's an artist, and he painted this picture of Mama got a big lap, and there's like everybody hanging on to her. So yes, we are strong, and from beginning to the end, you survive. You're here. We're here. We made it, you know.
Yes.
And it's okay to break down. Like there ought to be a time when you can sit down and break down.
Absolutely. Thank you, my friend.
I know.
This is my breakdown moment right here.
Yes, yes. And you know what?
Yes.
I think that to be that honest is so freeing.
Yeah, it is.
Because I know this. I mean, I have stuff that I can't say, you know, but I just said, God, that is that's so much freedom in that. And I applaud you for that. That's just beautiful.
Yeah. COVID did it. COVID over the edge. And being the caregiver of my mother, it just took me over the edge, and I had to be able, it allowed me to become vulnerable. So I found my strength in my vulnerability, you know, and that was an amazing freedom, as you said, Linda. That's an amazing freedom right there. So we have a couple of men. Would either of you like to speak? Shed some light from a male perspective?
Okay. So I can give it from my perspective, one being married to Chinu, who is definitely a strong Black woman, seeing all of her family, you, Yaya, all of her siblings, and then also being raised by my mother by herself. I was always under I guess the perception that women, or especially Black women, were innately strong. So seeing, especially being around Chinu, like hearing all these different, I guess, seeing how people tend to normally think about it, how being a strong Black woman can be normally perceived as negative thing, it never crossed my mind because I was always under such positive, strong influences that it just always seemed like that was the way to see them, to always view them as. And I was actually speaking with her just the other day, where colored women don't actually get all that much representation in many forms of media, and how it went from being something extremely rare to like you only see like the token Black character. The cast is primarily white, and you'd see like the occasional Black character, Black woman, and you could tell that her character is just she's a Black woman. They usually act the same, or they fit into a caricature. And just going from that perspective, from like what I see on a regular basis, from actual reality, and the way that they tend to be portrayed in media is just completely wrong. But I've also been noticing that there are people who one actually see how they should be and are advocating against that rather.
Wow. That is deep. That is really deep. You brought in the whole conversation about how we are portrayed within media, you know, and that's something to really think about. And I think Chinu, we were just having a conversation earlier, and I think it was yesterday, and we mentioned something to the fact that the only image or the only recollection I have of how this particular culture, I'm not going to mention the culture because that's irrelevant. The only meaning that I have about this particular culture is what I see on TV, but they're entirely different. Do you remember that conversation we had yesterday? And but you brought some light to the conversation in terms of, you know, no, that's not it. And Sam, what you just mentioned is so true. So outside world and people of other races are looking at the African-American woman or the Black woman as something that's so stereotypical, is just transferred from an Auntie Mama, you know, type to a modern day type Auntie Mama. you know, in a lot of ways, that loud, yeah, you know, that stereotypical woman, always loud, always, you know, booming and always just sounding so ignorant, you know, and we're not. That's not who we are. That's not who we are. That's who Hollywood tried to make us to be, you know, so it's up to us to set the record straight, you know. And so this forum that we're having tonight, or this conversation, I would like to say, I like to keep it personal. This conversation we're having tonight is like the tip of the iceberg in terms of setting the record straight. Because Shakira, as you said, each one teach one, each one reach one. And that is from Queen Mother Moore. And that's something that I've had, you know, within my spirit before I even knew the words to have in my spirit. So thank you, Sammy, for bringing that to light. I appreciate that. Anybody have any questions for him about what he just said? Anything? So we have another. We want to know,
Sorry.
Star.
Yes, no questions, but he made me think about something that came to be of somewhat of my awareness a couple of months ago. I am a strong Black woman, and I've always been that strong person. This is on a more personal note in the family. Everybody would come to me, and it always seemed like I was the one to be able to handle the situation. However, a couple of months ago in an incident, I felt like I'm it's like a blessing and a curse because I'm strong doesn't mean I don't have feelings, doesn't mean I don't need anyone to listen to me, doesn't mean that I'm not going through anything, doesn't mean that I don't need to vent, you know. And I think a lot of times people take that, and because they see you or have seen you always being that one for someone else, they don't recognize the fact when you need to have someone to lean on. So I had to bring that to someone's attention a couple of months ago. And although I understood what she was saying, it just didn't sit well with me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just trying to let people know going forward that just because I am a strong Black woman and I am here for my people, you know, there are times I need someone to be here for me too. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Well stated. Well said. On point. Yes. Anyone?
Hey, what's up, Mom?
Hey, Imani.
Hey, I just wanted to give a big ups to Sammy, man. He put that perfectly as far as it all boils down to the perception. But there is a paradigm shift as far as the perception of the strong Black women. So, you know, for example, what you're doing here, what you ladies are all speaking on, you know, it's a lot of other groups doing the same thing. And it's basically pushing the envelope and allowing people to recognize you guys the way you want to be recognized versus, you know, how the media portrays you in the negative light. But Sammy said that perfect. So I just wanted to say thank you, beloved, because you allowed me not to ramble. But continue. Y'all sound lovely. Thank you. I love to listen.
Thank you. Okay, we have a few more minutes left. Anybody else want to speak? We do have about 10 minutes.
I just wanted to say that after listening to everyone, I feel like we should all just remember self-care is very important, especially with the COVID-19 happening and a lot of people having to stay home, doing e-learning with the children and that sort of thing. Self-care is very important, especially because as a strong Black woman, you are expected to be strong and you are expected for it to not affect you as much and for you to just continue on with daily life like everything is fine and, you know, like you don't have to talk about it. Like, I think we should all just keep in mind, like, this platform is amazing, but talking about it on a daily basis or every other day or whenever you need to is okay. And to make sure that we're doing things for ourselves, whether it is to take 10 minutes and just go sit down in a room by yourself or to go watch a movie or whatever the case may be, just remember yourself is the most important thing, because if you don't take care of you, nobody else.
We lost you. I don't hear you. I didn't hear the last part of what you were saying. Did everybody hear her?
No, she cut off at the end.
Yeah, you cut off at the end, Brittany. I don't know what happened.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes, yes, we missed the
So
last.
I was basically just saying that like self-care is very important, and you know, if you're pouring into other people all the time, you have to make sure that you're pouring into yourself, because nobody else is going to do that for you.
Right. Okay. Anyone else?
To piggyback off of that, Brittany, during these COVID times, working virtually with students is a challenge on its own. So I just want to say, normalize taking a mental health day. Like, it is okay. The job will be there. You know, that your job will be there. They will be fine. Take a day off. You don't need to give them a reason. I mean, I don't, speaking for myself, I take plenty of days. When I need them, I do not feel shy, and I do not feel afraid to take a day off. I think everybody knows that. But yeah, normalize taking a day for yourself, because just like you don't need to take a day off just because your body is physically sick. If your mind is not in the right space, your mind is a big part of your body. We need to make sure we nourish our minds, just like we nourish and take care of our bodies. If you need a mental health day, if you're tired, just take it, you know? No, nothing's gonna happen. Just use that, take that time for yourself. It is okay. So,
I agree, because you don't take that day and something happens to you, they don't care. They hire somebody new and they move on.
And
You're lucky if your family gets a card or some flowers. They move on without you. They don't care.
Yes.
Yeah. Just to piggyback off of Chino, Chino, you're 100% correct. I remember, you know, I'm one of them, you know, workaholics, you know, and that's not a proud thing. But since the pandemic, I've been taking mental health day and personal days. I got a million of them. I mean, I donated to the, you know, the COVID, you know, hours for those who don't have the hours and they get sick. And when I started taking my personal days, everybody was shocked. And, you know, I said, you know, is everything okay? This is called a personal day. Everything is okay. This is called I'm taking them. If you want to know, it's a mental health day. You know, I'm taking a mental health day, you know, and I have a lot of them scattered all over the place, just random, you know, no rhythm to the rhyme. And so you're 100% correct with that. I work, for those who don't know, I work for a school that work with traumatized young girls, you know, from ages 12 to 18. And one of our guiding principles that really resonate with me is honoring the female spirit. And so working for that school for 10 years, I feel like as a group of strong women, you know, we just need to continue to honor each other. It doesn't matter how we look. Let's, you know, break down colorism, featureism, body shaming, you know, all the different labels that society put on us to keep us divided, and continue to embrace and honor the female's spirit. And so that's one of the, you know, the guiding principles that I do appreciate about the school that I work at, you know, and just keep telling the girls, you know, love you. You know, if you don't love you, then it's going to be very hard for you to sell that to the world. You know, when you love yourself, everybody see you. You just start shining, or as a young girl say, you like a whole vibe in it of yourself. You know, in it of itself. You know, I try to say, you know, abreast of the new colloquialism or whatever. So, you know, I think we just need to continue to respect and honor each other, you know, for our own uniqueness, because we are magical.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you, everybody. We have about 5 more minutes, and our time will expire. And the reason it's going to expire is because I personally feel an hour is enough. It's not too draining because we can go all night. You know how we do the all-nighters, you know, sipping a little bit of tea and so forth, you know, but we're going to just cut it short. But we all said some wonderful things, and they're very profound. They're on point. I encourage everybody to take, you know, a spiritual or a mental laxative, just like you would do a physical laxative, you know. And when I say mental and spiritual laxative, that means there's letting S-H-I-T, yeah, come out your mind and plug in something good. It's like when you do a physical laxative, you know, getting rid of all the garbage and stuff in your system, the toxic stuff and waste in your system. You don't want to just go ahead and put something toxic back in your system. You want to try to keep it clean for a little while. You know what I mean? You want to like take advantage of this good feeling, this freedom of having all this waste gone. The same thing with your mind and your spirit. If you take care of your mind by incorporating something ritualistic every day, it becomes a habit. Okay, like wake up in the morning and do something different other than just wake up in the morning and jumping on your phone. I'm not saying you're doing this, I'm just giving this as an example. Instead of waking up in the morning, hopping on your phone, going on to social media, rushing to do this or rushing to that. Even if it's just sitting on the edge of your bed and taking some deep breaths, 5 or 6 deep breaths, you know, start that, do that. That's better than nothing. That beats a blank, you know, and you'll be surprised how often throughout the day, once you get it going, throughout the day, you find yourself doing that. That taking a deep breath is releasing the toxins and the negative energy from your spirit, from your mind, and you begin to feel better without you even realizing you're feeling better. You know, you just begin to feel differently. You might want a cup of tea instead of something else, or you might want to go for a walk instead of sitting in front of the TV, because it's like a roller coaster effect when you start treating yourself well, okay? And you don't need permission from anybody to do that. The only person you need permission to do that with is yourself. You need to give yourself permission to do it. So just incorporate something. Make you a little, saying in your mind, affirmation in your mind that this is what you're going to do. So I just want to read from my book in the healing section, because there's a whole healing section in this, the healing path in this book. I just want to read to you from the gems. Okay, there's a section in here called gems. Everybody know what a gem is. It says, don't get overwhelmed with the thought of being overwhelmed. Thinking about all the things that must be done is overwhelming. Can you understand that? Sometimes we just get, I'll leave that for you to interpret, but I'll just read it one more time. Don't get overwhelmed with the thought of being overwhelmed. Thinking about all the things that must be done is overwhelming. Okay, so I want to really thank everybody. I'm Rashida Sharif. Please visit my website at rashidasharif.com. Check out my YouTube videos, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Some deep stuff on that YouTube channel. I tell you, man, I just keep it real and keep it raw sometimes. So you just got to go ahead and check some of those videos out. Get your friends to subscribe, because mental health matter. You know, we matter. Our mental health matter. I want to just go ahead and let us, you know, take some deep breaths, and like 3 deep breaths. And before I do that, anybody got any closing remarks that they want to say? I don't want to, hey, Matthew, hey, Sugar, hey, anybody have any?
For being strong Black woman, and have a good evening.
Well, thank you. That's the 3rd male we heard from the day. Woohoo! Can everybody unmute their mics and give a clap? Woo!
Thank you, Matthew.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so the 22nd of each month, expect a new conversation. If you have something that you want to talk about, please feel free to email me, drop me a line, call me on the phone, text me, or whatever, because we're going to do this every month on the 22nd of every month. 22 is a good number, y'all. Okay, so let's just take 3 deep breaths. Breathe it in. And let it out. Breathe in the color of your strength. And let it out. Breathe in the color of courage. And release. Thank you. Peace and love. I love you all.
Good night, everyone. Thank you.
Good
Good to
Good
see
night.
you.
Looking forward to reading my
Good to see
book.
y'all. Bye. Good night,
Love
everyone.
Hi,
Right.
Jack.
Love
Hi,
y'all.
Jesse.